Hello, this is Mr. Marshall for Truganina College, Data Representation, Lesson 4, Constructing Frequency Tables. So today we are learning about frequency tables and how to read data from frequency tables. And our success criteria is I will be successful when I can construct frequency tables. Now, a frequency table is not that hard. Now, frequency means the number of times an event or value occurs. So frequency tables just shows a list of items and the number of times they occur. Constructing it's really not too hard. First, we make 3 columns. The first column contains the data values in ascending order from smallest to biggest or lesser to larger. The second step or second column, it contains the number of times that value occurred, and this is where we make our tally marks and we count it on the table. And the final column is the frequency of tally marks, or the total number of tally marks. So here is an example already done. It is the record of customers that visit on any given day. Now, here's our values, our categories, are the days of the week. Here's her tally marks as the customers were coming in for each day. And then she just added up at the end how many tally marks she had. Now, remember when we were looking at previous number systems back in year 7, that this is one way of counting. So we just go 1 mark, 2, 3, 4, and then we put a line through it to say 5 tally marks. Makes it a little bit easier to count because we can just go 5, 10, 15 plus 3 is 18. So we can skip count those 5s. Or we can just look at it and go, well, there's 5 groups of 5 there, plus 1 more is 26. So here's an example. We have 30 students in our class and we ask them how many siblings do they have, or how many people live in their family home. So we identified that this is numerical discrete data. Back in lesson 1 we talked about the different types of data. It's nice and discrete data because we can see that it's whole numbers. Now there are 7 different scores in here. It goes from the number 2 all the way up to number 8. So we can leave this as ungrouped data. It works quite well. So we will create a frequency table. The first column will be the number of family members, which is represented here from the number 2 up to the number 8. The second column, or the last column, is going to be how many times it appeared here, and the middle column is for our tally. So here it's finished. So we have the number of family members, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because that's the numbers that are there. We put in our tally marks, and then we just add them up at the end. Now, at the end, I've got this extra row down the bottom here. Remember how we talked about this symbol being the sum? So this is saying the sum of frequencies. So we added up our frequencies here, and we see that the number equals 30. And we know that we've put all the numbers in because that 30 there is the number of students that we asked in our survey. So we know that we've marked every value here into our tally here. Now we could have done this without that middle column and gone, okay, number of families that have 2 members. Look through here and see 1, 2, 3, so 3 families. The problem is that sometimes, especially when you're getting with 30, 40, 50 data sets, you might miss one when you're scanning through. And this is where you're going through and going 2, put down a mark, 4, put down a mark, 5, put down a mark, 6, put down a mark, and manually going through here and putting a mark in each one. Make sure that you don't miss a number. So here's a second example. 30 golfers are scored. Here is their scores. Now again, we've got numerical discrete data, but this time it's a fairly large range. there's 24 numbers. Now we could have a frequency table with 24 numbers, but it won't be easy to manage and it'll be fairly hard. So we can group this in groups of 2 or 5. So if we group it in groups of 5, there will be 5 groups, because 24 divided by 5 is 4 with a remainder, so we have to round it up to 5 groups. But with 24, we can divide that by 2 quite nicely and get groups of 2 and only have about 12 groups. So for this example, we're going to group it by 2s, which gives us 12 groups, but we're going to start with an even number. This makes sense, especially when you're looking at groups of 10s, because we start at a 0. This gives us 13 groups from 62 to 63, then 64, 65, 66 to 67, and so on, all the way down to our last values of 86 to 87. Again, we go through 73, we put in a mark. 69, we put in a mark. 75, we put in a mark. And we keep going, and then we add it up again, find out 30 scores, 30 golfers. We've put all the data in here. And we can see that the spread of data, it's mostly clumped into here, but the range is still a fairly big range. Okay, this makes it easy to look at the data and find if there's any common numbers. So our exercises is from 14.3 in the Maths Quest book, pages 552 to 556. Practice level students will be working on these questions. Consolidating students will be working on these questions. And master level students will be working on these questions. Our review for today is, what could you create a frequency table of for a sport that you like to watch or play? And how does a telecolumn help us creating a frequency table? And we discussed this in this video.